Impossible to Possible Parenting welcomes you back to another interesting episode where we have a wonderful conversation with Sanyogita Kapoor as she shares a short insight about her journey as a mother who mostly single-handedly brought up her son as her husband was constantly at different postings and had to fulfill the necessities of work that kept him away from the family. Listen on. Hi Sanyogita, welcome to my show called the Impossible to Possible Parenting. And one of the main reasons we have this program, it's a podcast and it's on YouTube now, is basically for parents to share about their experiences. It's not technical, we're not here as people to judge other parents, but we're here to listen to stories and listen to real life experiences from parents like you, and even I'm a parent myself. And we want to really understand and share with one another what is the journey of parenting. And everybody goes through their own journey of parenting, and everybody has their own challenges as a parent. Many times we don't know if you're on the right track, and we question ourselves as parents, and we say, oh, I wish I did this better, and I wish I had more capacity for my child or more time for my child. But we all have limitations as human beings. And parents makes it even worse because you are dealing with kids who are very demanding and adolescent age and all that happens during that time. So I just want to welcome you, and I just want to talk to you and listen to you about your experience as a mother. Yeah. And absolutely. So let it flow and let's have it going. So first of all, let's talk about your experience. Let's start with your introduction about you and your family.
I'm Sanyogita Kapoor, of course. Mrs. Sanyogita Kapoor now. So when we went to school, I think my surname was Khosla. And I come from a very, My dad was a very liberal man, but my mom was a very orthodox person. So I come from that kind of a family, which was a mix of everything. And yes, my husband is a wonderful person, and my son, I've done all my best to raise him. So yes, I'll be sharing certain things, but I would say challenges are there in everything, not only parenting. Life is full of challenges.
Totally, absolutely. And I think your son is now 26 years old.
26.
Great. So tell me about, when you talk about, he's now a young man, he's more or less balanced with his life. He's gone through the adolescent phase. But when he was turning 13, 14 and then moving on to 17, 18, what was your experience with that at age with him?
So by that time, my husband was, traveling all over for his job, for his project. So he would not be in one place. So we had to stay here in our house. Just the two of us were there. And it was like many times he would have so many questions, and why can't my dad be here? Why only you have to be here? Why only you have to go for the PTMs? Why can't your dad come over and go to the PTMs? So I had to really make him understand that he is earning, he's doing his work for us. And of course I had to give up my job because I had to be with him all the time. And I used to tell him, if I am there, I'm like a father and a mother to you. So don't worry why dad is not here. Many times I had to explain him that he has to go. That's his work. One day you will grow up, you will be doing the same. You will go for your work. And then I should tell him, you have to go to school too. So why you go there? I am alone at home. Why you have to go to school? He says, no, I have to. So similarly, dad also has to.
Absolutely.
So those things were like, he always had questions about all these things. And many times I used to train him for self-defense and all those things. So many times, I would get complaints from school that he's beaten up this guy.
Oh,
or he's
wow.
So then we had to put it into him that it's only for you, not to go and beat up people, not to do all this. So, but one of his teachers was very supportive. So once he had done something, I never got the complaint. In fact, he came home and he told me this happened today in school. This guy was trying to bully me, and he tore my shirt from the side. See, it's torn here. And I gave it to him. I said, what did you do? I gave him a choke slam. I said, oh my God. And I was worried there'll be another complaint. So almost 15 days passed and there was a PTM. So I went for it, and very nicely, everything went well. The teacher was, no, he's a very nice guy, very respectful towards teachers and all that. So I was surprised. And then I said, this happened, so are you aware of it? He said, I know, I saw him do that, but it was required with that child. I was like, don't say that when he's here, please. But then I came home and I explained him that it has happened, just end it, don't do all this again. But he was a child who would really understand things when you would explain him something, that why it's wrong. I mean, he could have hurt him seriously.
True.
So those kind of things, of course, I had to face when he was growing up. And then he's a boy, being a boy, you know, that aggression and all that used to come out. But then gradually he did learn, and he would say like, no, something happened. But I shut him up just with a few words. I said, okay, fine. And then he had become like really famous in school. He would do all the speeches and everything. He's very good with his spoken English and writing and all that. So he would do all those things, and it so happened the principal became his friend. And if I would put a complaint for him, they would scream at me. And why you have to complain about such a wonderful boy?
Yes.
So somewhere, you know, I was always like, man, what kind of image he has in school, and I'm doing all this, that I'm complaining about him. So it was always otherwise. That instead of teachers complaining, I was complaining about him. But I think that's a part of growing up, and they learn it. But today I would say he's a totally different person, very mature. And now he understands why dad has to go, because he's preparing himself to go further.
Go back into the career, go into the career world, eh?
And when I reflect back on my childhood, I would say, you know, these kind of things, of course, were not there. But my mother was a very orthodox person. So she was always, you know, she would even have a problem if I'm talking to a male friend or something. But my dad was very good. He would be like, no, it's okay. They are her friends. Let her talk to them. So he would explain my mother all these things. Like, you know, don't worry about all this. Let her be. It's okay. You have to trust your child. So somewhere that thing I learned from my father, that I need to trust my child always. And for like many things, like he's done things wrong which he should not have done. And I think it's a part of growing up. They learn. But he used to share with me, because he knew that, you know, she will have that trust in me if I tell her. So sometimes there would be things which I was not able to explain him. So I have a friend who would, you know, I had taken him to him once. In fact, till date I don't know the conversation, because he says, if I tell you what happened, what we discussed, he will not trust me. And you being a mother will definitely tell him, you said this to him, you said this to him, ye kyun bola, wo kyun bola. So that's a part of it. But then that really helped, like taking him to the counselor. And abhi tak to, like, I see a lot of changes after that. And the way he's been studying and doing things after that, so I was like quite impressed with that one counseling session. So that was really good. So, but otherwise, see, for me, I never felt parenting as a challenge. I always felt it was a joy. You know, you raise your children for your joy. I see many of my friends say, you know, that ठीक है बच्चे बड़े हो रहे हैं, we are getting old, so उनको हमारा ध्यान रखना है. They have to do this for us, they have to provide for us. But it's not a barter system going on anywhere, right? So it's fine. I have raised my child for my own joy, for my own happiness. I wanted my family, and I raised him. And I tried to put the best in him, whatever I could. So tomorrow I can't tell him that, you know, now we are working, now we are old, so you have to provide for us, you have to do this for me, or you do it because I did for you, you have to do it. That is not my style of life. I don't like to do that. I know if he can do something, he'll do it. And if he cannot, he will tell me, he'll come up and straight away say, Mom, I can't do this. I don't have the capacity. So that's fine, and we need to accept it.
Yeah.
That's how I am with him, and I keep telling him this. I've raised him very differently, not like those normal things like, no, this has to be done, and this has to be done, and this has to be done. And I never forced things on him. I was alone, so, you know, I really had to be patient with him, because Sunil was always, my husband was always traveling for his projects. Sometimes he would be in India, sometimes out of India. Sometimes, you know, when he's out of India, we would meet once a year, just for a month or so. Maybe for the vacation, we would go and be with him. So just once a month. So I had to, you know, really put things into him that would really make his life smooth and easy. So I used to tell him that one day you will also have to do this. You will have to earn for your family, like your dad is struggling and he's working so hard for us. So today he says himself that, you know, I have to make myself that capable that I am able to provide like my dad. So somewhere I feel happy that I've inculcated that thing into him.
Sense of responsibility.
Yes, definitely. So recently, I was not well and we were alone. So my husband had to leave for his work, and he went back to Africa. And the way he took care of me was quite surprising for me, because I've never told him do this for me or do that for me. But that sense of responsibility was shown in him. How he would take care of me, or how he would make sure that I get my food on time, my medicines on time. And I was like, man, he's really grown up. I don't have to worry now.
So that's the joy at the stage.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you think that, sorry to interrupt you here, but
Sorry.
do you think that the generation that he grew up with, he didn't have internet in those days? Or did he already have internet back in those days?
We had, but it was restricted for him. We had internet, but time was restricted, and he had to use it when I'm around in the house, not when I'm not there. Because many times he used to share, my friend told me I should see this website, and it's like really fun. When you watch it, you'll enjoy it. So I should tell him first, I will see, and then I'll let you know if it's meant for your eyes or not. And then he would agree to it. That was a good thing about it.
Wow.
But otherwise, he's been a rebel in many things, but certain things he would understand that yes, my mom is saying it's not for me, so it's fine. I used to always tell him, your parents are your best friends. Don't think those other people, they are your friends, whatever they're asking you to do is right. It might not be right for you. So you have to listen to what we are saying. So that was always there between us. We've always had a very good conversations together. And it was never like you have to order him or scold him or tell him that this has to be done. It was always like, okay, let's talk about it. Whatever you're saying, let's sit and talk about it. And then in the end, it used to be, you always convince me. You never agree to what I say. So we would reason out things, why it has to be done like this.
Fantastic. So you are more of a authoritative parent, where you had some control, but authoritative parenting is really a very good style of parenting, because where you are allowing your child to have the freedom to take decisions, but at the same time having control of the environment. Many parents are authoritarian in the style that they want to control the child and not give the freedom to the child to decide. And I think that's when you have a lot of backlash when you see with parenting and childing and rebelling with parents.
Yes.
So I think what you mentioned very interestingly is the opportunity for you and the child to talk and to have a conversation about issues and actually thrash it out. Most parents don't open up a conversation with their children, and that's so much of an issue today when I see with children. when I deal with young kids who come to me and they tell me of how afraid they are of their parents. There's a lot of fear with them in their minds about their parents.
I think, like I said, we need to be friends with them. And I'd always told him that anything bothering you, if you don't come and share with us, we'll never be able to help you out. I said, we are the only ones who can help.
True.
It's not that you can do things on your own and you'll be fine. No, the more you're going to hide, the more you're going to be like, mummy ko nahi pata chale ya papa ko nahi pata chale, so it's not going to help. It's only when we come to know, we can show you a way out of it. So anytime he would be in a problem, or he would, like once he lost his history notebook in school. So he was not telling me, but trying to write and scribble and whatever he could. So then I told him, see, what are you doing these days? Will you write too much? What are you writing? And then he had to tell me that this happened and this homework also and this, and I'm not able to manage. So I said, okay, we'll sit together. I'll tell you how to do. So I went to the school. I told the teacher, ma'am, he's lost that book and we need to do all the work. So she helped me, like she gave me a child's notebook, and then she said that you can copy everything from here and tell him to finish the work so that he can come. So I helped him, and then he would sit late in the night also sometimes, sometimes by 12 or so that we could at least finish the work. Then he said, okay, thank you so much, you were up with me all the time and we could do it. And then like within a week we could complete all the work, and then I could send his notebook back to the school, and then he was again at par with other children.
Great.
So I said, if you've lost a notebook, you have to come and tell me.
Yeah.
You can't do it on your own, you're not able to manage and you're trying to hide, you're worried that I might get angry with you. But if I know you don't have a notebook, I can help you work and write on it.
True. Yeah, well, a lot of children have anxiety in these issues. Adolescent is a different age, and it's a difficult age for kids because they really don't have all the answers, and obviously they are going through this awkward stage of growing up, and they just need a lot of reassurance, especially from the parents, because if you do not get it from the parents, then they will look at it from the outside world. And that's wonderful when you share about how you have single-handedly, I mean, I know your husband is a wonderful man, but someone has to bring in the bread and butter, and someone has to support the family, and he has a job that requires him to travel, and in fact be based in many different parts of the country, and you just can't keep moving along with the family. Can't move all the time. Education is there, and family is there, and stability of one home is very important. So I think from that perspective, you've done a fantastic job. I know your son, and he's also doing well, and I think it's wonderful that you shared about the fact that you always maintained an open relationship of talking to him and letting him come to you. Most parents don't, try to control that environment. It's very strict environment with parents. Is there anything else you want to share with us? And before we
see, I would say, like, when I talk about this thing that we've had open conversation, it's about like any damn thing on this world, anything that he wants to talk about, whether it's like his growing up or his reaching his puberty and then asking questions about it, whatever it was, I had to answer this. Sometimes he would start laughing and I would tell him, you don't have to laugh, this is something very serious about life, and you have to understand. So I have always been a very open mom, that anything you want to know, I am there for it. But sometimes when you ask this information outside, when you go and talk to your friends, they will have limited information. Like you said, a lot of parents, they are very strict about it and they don't open up. So they will have limited information, and that is what is going to come to him, and he might misuse it and end up in a problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's better to have that open conversations with them, no matter what it was. And we used to talk about it.
Yeah, most of the parents don't want to talk about the birds and the bees.
Yeah. That is a big problem.
That is like a taboo topic for most parents.
Especially in Indian society.
Especially in our society. Sex, relationships are extremely taboo. Even in today's times. I think the younger generation of parents who are coming up might be different, I don't know. Maybe, but I think people we know of are still
I think if they are being raised with an open-minded parent, they will be very different.
But I think we still see that concept of it being a taboo out here.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel threatened by this relationship issues? If your son ever got into a relationship?
He's never shared that.
Never shared. That's a secret. That's a secret. Well, you haven't had any girlfriends come home, have you?
He's gone for their birthdays.
He's gone for their birthdays. But he hasn't brought them home yet.
No, not yet.
Then
I'm open to that. I'm open to that, and he knows, and he says, the day I feel somebody has to come home, I'll bring her home. Don't worry.
Wow, that's great. Very mature. Very mature.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but he's 26 now, so he's obviously balanced out from his adolescent phase.
Yes.
He's moved into maturity, and he's got a sense of direction in life. Great. So, well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and talking about your life as a mother, your journey, and it's really been wonderful listening to your story. Just even if it's a short moment of time that we've shared with each other, I think we've had a wonderful experience just listening and knowing about what you've been doing as a mother. And, you're not a single mom, but single-handedly you've handled the situation. You had a lot of work.
I've been a father and a mother.
And I think when you bring up a son, you mentioned about the awkward questions that a boy will have. Obviously, going into puberty is most different. Girls can talk to their mothers about it more freely. And when your father is not there and the son has the same questions, who does he talk to? And I think it's wonderful that you were open and honest about it, and also were strong enough to talk about it. Many parents, especially women, don't know how to talk about it. And then that's exactly what you say, is that they will go to outside sources. I think so. Really, it's been so nice to know about all your experiences. I think it's just been a wonderful talk that we've had this morning, and I want to thank you for coming and joining me on this show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do share your feedback and click on the subscribe button to continue to follow us on YouTube or Spotify. We would love to read your comments and be encouraged to keep going further. You can also email me at challengeofparenting@gmail.com.